Hey everybody, Matt DeCourcy here from the Startup Hustle podcast, back with another reaction video. Today, I just finished recording an episode about some of the biggest mistakes that SaaS companies make. And joining me for today's episode was the CEO and founder of Business Jetpack and the Conversion Whisperer. His name is Dmitriy Pisarev. I really enjoyed recording this episode. I also quickly realized that it probably should have been like a 6-part series. Because where do SaaS companies make a lot of mistakes? Here, hold my beer. Hold my beer, because there's a whole lot to talk about there. Now, when you think about the mistakes that SaaS companies make, where do you start? A lot of the stuff you talked about was related to the overall messaging and how you are explaining the solution that you provide. Now, I did point out a couple times during this episode that if your software doesn't fix a problem, then your software sucks. I think it's pretty fair to say that. And it's shocking how difficult it is for some businesses to define their core benefit statements. What do you do? What's the solution that you provide? And how do you get my attention with a message related to that? And that's something that Dmitry does really well. I guess I should point out that the episode today was sponsored by Fullscale.io, helping you build a software team quickly and affordably. All right, so also some notable things from the show. Dmitry mentioned a book by Eugene Schwartz about breakthrough advertising, and he had 4 notes with that recommendation I thought were pretty interesting. So he talked about businesses being not problem aware, being solution aware, vendor aware, and fully aware. I pointed out that I think that wasn't just in relation to how businesses were describing their service offering, but also themselves. Don't underestimate how many businesses don't even know how to identify what their own problems are. There's actually a whole consulting industry that exists worldwide to solve a lot of those problems. I think that one of the biggest mistakes that SaaS companies make is related to raising capital. And so many of them wait too long to raise and find themselves in a pretty tough spot when they don't get the investment money fast enough. And one of the mistakes you can make as a SaaS founder or a SaaS company is underestimating how long that process can take. Realistically, and the experience and the interviews from past Startup Hustle episodes, and by the way, there are a bunch, like a whole lot of episodes of Startup Hustle about venture capital, investment, pitches, all of it. I mean, I'm dozens of episodes, so there's a whole lot there. But, it takes 6 to 8 months for the most part to close a decent round, if not longer. And it can come together sooner, but don't count on it, because if you run out of money, it's game over. And that happens a lot. Another thing when it comes to the pitches and the overall process of raising money that a lot of companies run into is they can't really define their core benefit statement. They've waited too long to really begin to polish and understand their own sales offering. And they get what they're selling for the most part, like they know the solution that they're providing, but they haven't adequately refined that message in a way that turns into a sales process or funnel marketing. And, that can be tough to do. And I mean, really, in the end, if you have too much information, too many choices, too many options, a confused mind almost always says no. So you got to learn how to thin that out and see what really matters. One other thing we talked about was that oftentimes as a founder or a CEO, you can get in the way. And you can be part of the problem as to why the company isn't growing or moving forward. I shared a little bit of sentiment about how that had happened with me at Fullscale. We had 100 employees after a year. So, I mean, in that very short amount of time, we went from needing to ask me because I was one of 10 employees to suddenly having 100 people. And I had to do a lot to work around that. I'll let you listen to the episode to hear more about what I had to say on that. Overall, this is a great episode. There's a lot to be said. I think we'll expand on it later. I did bring up that I think we should have Dmitriy back. I really did enjoy talking with him. He's doing a great job with what he's doing. Link in the show notes. Check out what he's doing. Check out what we're doing. Make sure to listen to the Startup Hustle podcast. Leave us a good review. We'd love to hear from you. And you can also go to fullscale.io to learn more about what I do all day when I'm not working on Startup Hustle. See you next time.
I'm at the tippy top of my game, looking down at the rafters. I had to sun these boys, can't leave them blasters. A lot of dudes, just some undercover actress. I don't fall for it, I'm privy to all your tactics. Yeah, so try again.